In this block, I'm going to play some licks that can be played by the teacher while the students are strumming the chords to an exercise or a song. The teacher can put those licks in behind the students, and it makes it pretty fun for the students to hear something like this being played in the background while they're strumming the chords to an exercise or a song. This first one takes one measure of a G chord, and if you're strumming with your finger or your thumb, then you might want to play this lick with your thumb and your middle finger like this. So I'm using my thumb to play the lower note and my middle finger to play the high note. So that takes the one measure of the chord. So I could, if I had several measures of a G chord, I could maybe play 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time, slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I'm playing with the pick, I can play the same lick, but I can play the lower note with my pick and the high note with my middle finger. Like so. So the lick would be, watch the left hand fingering. And if I play it in time, if I'm playing a couple of measures of G, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there, the lick took the place of a measure of a G chord. I could even be playing a song where I'm playing, suppose I'm playing a D chord going to a G, and in place of playing the G chord for a measure, I could play the lick. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on to whatever the other chords are. So it takes one measure of a G chord to play that. This next lick, number 2, is a very similar kind of a lick. Works to play one measure of a C chord. Here I'm going to play it with my thumb and my middle finger once again. So it's, watch the left hand fingering. Thumb on the lower note, middle finger on the high note. So if I'm playing two measures of a C chord, in place of the second measure of C, I could play the lick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like so. Or I could play it with a pick, playing the lower note with the pick, the upper note with the middle finger. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So while the students are strumming the chord, you could put that lick in there. Lick number 3 takes two measures of a G chord to play. And what it has is a rest on the first beat and then a slide with the second finger from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret. Then a D note, and then a slide down to an A, then the rest of the notes in the lick. Now, if you put it into context, this would be great while the students are strumming a G chord. You could play this in the background. So if you had a series of G chords, you could be playing 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. Now notice that in the second measure of the G chord, rather than just playing the single note, 2, 3, 4, and making that a whole note, I played the note and then strummed for the other 3 beats of the measure. So it was rest, 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. So it takes the two measures of the G chord. Now this lick could also take one measure if you left off the single note that's in the second measure of the lick. So it would be rest. So if I was changing chord, for example, I might go rest, and then maybe to a C chord. So that's a lick for G. Now a common lick for a C chord is very similar. In lick number 4, this has a slide in it on the 2nd string from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret, followed by playing a G note, then you slide down from the 5th fret to the 3rd, then pick a C, then play the A and the G, then a C note. Now this takes two measures of a C chord, so I can be playing like a C, 2, 3, 4, rest. So the lick by itself sounds like this. Excuse me, like this. Like that. And if I put it in context with the chord, I'd have C, 2, 3, 4, rest. And then I could strum the rest of the measure with the C chord. So in that second measure, I could either strum the chord or just hold that whole note out. Probably be okay to hold it out while the students are just strumming the chord, but if you want to fill it in, you could strum the chord there. So you got the rest followed by the lick. Now, you could also play this in place of just one measure of a C chord. So you go rest, and then on to whatever chord is next by leaving off the second measure there. So that's a great lick for against a C chord. While the students are strumming chords or even doing alternating bass or whatever to the accompaniment of a song or an exercise, you can throw those licks in. It'll make it pretty exciting for the students.